Good evening, everybody. This is Mamta Singh, and we welcome you all on today's evening. We're going to meet beautiful guests coming all the way from New Delhi. And our today's session on Wiki Presents Education Forum is all about best teaching techniques. So before we begin with our today's session, there are a few qualities, best qualities of effective teacher. Like, life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are a learner. So if you are a learner, you are a great teacher. With that, I welcome Dr. Priti Ojha to Wiki platform. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Priti.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mamta Singh.
And we have Dr. Rabia Bhatia, who would be conveying today's session. She would be working as a conveyor. So let me quickly introduce you all to Dr. Priti Ojha. She is working at Delhi International School, Dwarka, New Delhi. She's a leader, passionate facilitator, co-learner, and teacher coach. She is at present working as a principal in Delhi International School. She has an experience of over 19 years in school profile, starting her career as a primary teacher and today serving as a principal is a journey with endless stories, what she's coming from, with. She's a postgraduate in computer science from Pune University. And Dr. Preeti went on to complete B.Ed, M.Phil, and PhD in computer science in her zeal to acquire the theoretical mooring of training and teaching. She has received awards for most progressive principles in National Convention of EDO Leaders and most promising principal by Global Leaders Foundation. She has recently been recognized as the LinkedIn Spotlight 2019, and we congratulate for the same to you. She is the management committee member of Mira Model School, honorary advisor for SPAA India, executive member of Private School Principal Association. She started her career as software coder at a reputed software firm. Eventually, she took up a profile of a teacher in the school sector as her heart would always get attracted to young minds, query, and inquisitiveness. She has been working since 19 years in various reputed schools as a faculty and later as an administrator. She worked with British Council North India Schools team, international coordinator, local facilitator. She is a master trainer and core skills trainer for various modules. She has conducted numerous workshops for teachers, leaders, and other stakeholders in education sector within India and abroad. Recently, she's been a SEDEX speaker awarded as the most innovative leader 2021 by Education Excellence Conclave supported by Ministry of Ayush and Fit India Movement. Received the Maharana Pratap Bravery Award by Oxford EduServe. Her journey as a teacher has helped her to be a leader. Her quest to resolve issues of students, teachers, parents, and management give her the satisfaction of learning through each solution and in micro level contribute to the system. With that brief introduction and a detailed introductory, we welcome Dr. Priti Ojha to Wiki and looking forward for having you as our today's guest talking about what are the best techniques in teaching. We welcome you, Doctor, on our forum.
Thank you so much, Mamta Singh, to invite me on this forum. I'm absolutely enlightened and happy to be welcomed. I'm extremely happy to be associated with Dr. Rabia here. And thank you so much, Rabia ma'am, to be with me during this conversation. I started my journey as a teacher to begin with, but my life before teacher was of a coder. But wherever I was, whether a teacher, whether a coder, my passion to be closer to the human minds who are curious to know more was always an aspect which was looking forward for. And I felt that the best minds and the curious minds are usually among the children. And when I started working as a coder with adults, I was not getting that kind of an energy I was expecting to interact with. And fortunately, for a few months when I was with children and teaching them, I realized the energy transaction is extremely important for both the individual, maybe an adult or a child, an adult. You need to have that energy that lets you work together. And that happened when I joined school. And school, I joined as a primary teacher with so much of interaction with children, with so much of questions they had. In fact, we talk about how to question when the children grow in their life, and we should actually look at the way they question when they're young, when they're so innocent, and their observation is so high that the teacher then starts preparing her class according to the question when they're at the young age. In fact, you can't be customizing your class if you think this is what I have to enter in the class with. You customize your class when you understand the children what their need is. And especially when you start becoming friendly to them, when you start talking to them, when you break the conditioning of 20 children in front of you and have a circle around you, the conversation in itself changes in the classroom. So that is how I started teaching in schools. And my till date learning is happening. I'm extremely happy to every day attend various kinds of webinars, sessions, workshops, travel around so that I can reach back in the classroom, either the children or the teachers, and bring them what's happening around the world in that one classroom, irrespective of a window or a walls of the school building. Anyhow, I need to reach to them by bringing whatever I have learned around. This is how my journey is,
Wonderful, Dr. Priti.
and this
That
is how I
was
look at it.
Superb. I think I personally, when I meet professional and educator like you, I go back to Tare Zameen Pe and then try to understand and introspect myself as a parent that yes, as a teacher, what role Amir Khan played, and as a kid, what role the Ishan Avasti played was totally, amazing ball game. And yes, teacher learns and then implements certain things. Yes, of course, for parents also, it goes the same. And I think today's session would help us knowing more in bit how as a teacher or what teachers plays as a great role. Of course they are indeed, but how as a parent we can support and learn certain techniques to implement. Because yes, considering the current lockdown and pandemic period, most of the time the kids are around us as a parent, and we as a parent need to learn certain techniques from professionals like you. So not taking much of time, I'll straight away invite today's conveyor, Dr. Rabia Bhatia, founder of ED Web Studio channel, joining us. And thank you so much, Dr. Rabia, for having Dr. Priti on this platform. Please take over. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mamta. Thank you so much for inviting me as a convener for this today's session. And it will be great to host Dr. Preeti today on this platform. So, Dr. Preeti, as you rightly said, that when you have to enter the classroom, you can't be that with set of set mind frame that yes, I have to teach in the same way, and that is how I'm going to take the class. You need to customize it, you need to learn some new things from the kids, and need to implement certain things when you are entering. Plus, when you said, I have a very good question for you. You mentioned that you started your teaching with the pre-primary section actually. So, it is so difficult for those kids to understand our language till the time we actually not action like them, we don't behave like them, and we are not actually kid like them in front of them. So, what could be the best teaching practices? Where could be best teaching techniques when you have to teach a pre-primary kid? Now you mentioned that you have to be friends, like, so I have a question for you, which I'm going to ask you, that we all know that teachers actually are not only teachers, right? We play 5 roles. So one is the resource person as a teacher, the second, a support system, third, a mentor, fourth, helping hand, you may say that a friend, and a fifth is a learner. As you already said that we have to be a learner and a daily learner. So first question, as I mentioned, please share with us your teaching techniques which you implemented during your old days while taking care of the pre-primary section. In
Um,
and as taking care of those 5 roles of a teacher, basically.
According to the new national education policy, I'm glad they have brought in learn to learn. Extremely important for a teacher to bring into the classroom. So when we actually go in a classroom, we need to learn the children what their need is. And with the age group that you're talking about, mostly don't have the right words to ask you. So you need to model yourself what you expect them to have as a learning outcome. So, for example, if you're a teacher who goes inside the classroom and you want the children to ask and come inside the class, you want to ask them to ask to be permitted and allowed to come inside the class, which is one of the value systems that one has to understand when they grow in life. So you need to ask and enter the class. So when the children say yes, you may come in, or they may say come in, then they know that there is a process when you enter this door. So when you model it with your children as an adult, the children start looking at you as an example of their action. So most of the time, your actions and the way you are in the classroom is the way that your children are going to recognize as a value system for their lives, which has to be very beautifully arranged in the lesson plan of the child. Because if the teacher doesn't have the learning outcome, and how will she assess what she has learned, what she's teaching? She wouldn't be able to do the right thing. You know what happens is usually we talk in the class, we do a lesson plan, but we don't know what exactly and how to assess. So the first thing that one should do is what to assess in the child in this lesson plan or to in the classroom. When they know that I want to assess if the children understand may I come and go out, then your entire action in the class should be associated to only that particular skill. So this is how in the pre-primary section, sign language, your voice, your tone, your number of words, your clap, your movement, your facial expression, your dressing, your way you're sitting, you're moving, you're talking, everything is observed. And why do they observe? Because they can't speak all what they have in mind because they have less of words. So the only skill that they have is observe as much as you can. Today she was wearing no bindi, but today she's wearing a big bindi. The whole class is going to be looking at the teacher and asking her, she seems to be happy. You know, the association of dressing up from the very young age comes to the children when the teacher says, you know, I'm very happy today. Today's my birthday and I thought I'll wear this color. I hope you all like it. So children directly associate in their real lives that if I am going to look happy, I have to be dressed up a little more colorful. How you model in the pre-primary section. And all the 5 roles that you do is actually you're concluding it into very few numbers. There are endless list of responsibility one has to do in the classroom. So it differs from age group, each age group that we have. I hope I satisfied your question.
Yes, beautifully explained, Dr. Preeti. Beautifully explained your actions, your way of talking, your language, your modulation. Everything changes actually, and you have to act first. Then only you can expect the kids to expect and act in the same manner. Very nicely explained. Thank you, Dr. Preeti. I'm sure our viewers, our participants, will be able to take a lot of benefit out of it. So the my next question out of it, out of the
I'll
same thing,
just
Dr. Preeti.
interrupt in between,
Yeah,
Rabia.
Mamta.
Very
Yes.
rightly said. Like, if a teacher is acting the way she wants the kids to be, act upon, I think she needs to act. And I always believe in one statement: monkey sees, monkey does. And I think we all are monkeys around. What we see, uh, we try to mimic, we try to act, And I think that's
Correct.
the best example or best practice what we try to follow. And as a kid, yes, they try to uh, you know inculcate those habits, those characteristic what they see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
True.
So, Dr. Preeti, connected to the same thing actually, as you said that yes, the kids at the early year of age, they actually inculcate, like Mamta said, they inculcate what they see actually, right? So we as elders are the mirrors to in front of them. So any tip, because at the end of the day, parents, if you say, parents are the, कहते हैं ना कि माता पिता बच्चे के पहले गुरु होते हैं. So I think parents are also educators at the end of the day. So any teaching technique, any teaching tip for the parents, so that the kids should inculcate, should imbibe the good moral values from the early years of age. And as parents, what is our duty as teachers, as
I
parents?
think, yeah, as parents, I think nowadays the parents have become extremely good in parenting during this lockdown period. It might be in the early stage, they were not as equipped as they are now, because I see them, most of them, trying to create a bond with their children, which is extremely important. You don't have to see your child somebody who becomes something what you wanted yourself to become at a very young age. That thought process should be reduced a little. And I think there is a lot of protection around the child. Everybody's very scared for their children. It's very difficult to hold yourself and allow the child to fall. It's very difficult for a parent. And I think that is what one needs to practice as a parent of a young child, that let the child take few age appropriate risk at home, fall, stand, cry, and get into that mode of reconciling with what happened was not so bad, and then keep moving ahead. And I think this is extremely important for a parent, which I feel, which usually parents are very scared during this pandemic and corona and the kind of news that they hear in the news channels. They're all the time too protective, and they were also earlier, but now they become too protective. I feel that the parent has to become a very good listener and an observant of a child. There are a lot of times when children wouldn't speak what they're feeling. And it happens from age group 3 to 18, and even adults. They don't express themselves quite often when they're upset. So one has to observe as a parent, as a guardian, what the child is doing, where is the pattern changing, what is making them uncomfortable, who comes in the house and they don't feel good, who's not in the house and they start crying, who's there in the they're looking forward for, why are they feeling all the time shy, what is that one thing that is making them feel they're not acceptable, or there might be different kinds of thoughts that a child is not trying to showcase, but will um, the parent would realize it only when the parent is observing. I think parents need to leave the technology for a while after the office work and always be with the children. Maybe they might be not doing very constructive work, but they might be sitting with the child, is reconciling for the children that they are being with someone and they are being guided with whatever way a parent is trying to. Because parents usually try to be their best when they are with only with their children. And when the parents see that if my child needs to play and there is nobody at home, I have only one child, there's no harm playing with children. I've seen so many videos recently when fathers are playing with their daughters with a doll. And it's such a beautiful thing because they know that my daughter loves playing with a doll or loves playing with utensils and she needs a partner to participate. So, what's wrong if I do that with them? And it's not that to become a guest in the game and just ask the child to do things, but they also participate. They make food with the children, they pour water in a glass, they serve each other, they talk to each other, they laugh with each other, they do all kinds of games with two chairs in the house with some cloth over it and make a home. And that's such a beautiful thing when the parent starts realizing. So that's something that I really like.
Wonderfully explained once again, Dr. Preeti. That is what we were actually looking out for, because I know being a educator, you're also a parent, and as a parent, you're also an educator. So it is very interconnected. And what you do at home, you actually, practice at home, I think the same goes ahead with the in the offices, in the schools as well. So I think we need to behave in a similar way. It has to be a, it has, we can't have two sides, as a parent different and as an educator different. So very beautifully explained once again. And now the third question I have, I mean, it was coming in my mind since the time we have started talking actually today in the session. You mentioned that as a educator, as a teacher, you started working with the pre-primary kids, and it has to be a kind of friends. Friends. What is the definition now when you say it as a friend? Because when you say it a friend, I'm sure the students start taking you for granted as well at times, because when they see, okay, fine, the teacher is so liberal, कुछ बोलती नहीं है, डांटती नहीं है, she is like a friend to me. So वो एक that distance, there is no distance in between a friend and a teacher. Then again, then they don't see, they don't see any difference between a teacher and a friend. So how do you maintain that actually with your students, with your kids, that yes, you are a friend to them also, as well as you are a teacher, you are a principal, or maybe principal or teacher also. So what is that thin line that you
Yeah.
maintain, and how do you maintain that, and what is the technique you apply?
Okay. So I'll make myself a little correct here. I think I don't mean that friends. Friend has a very vast meaning and a lot of
Yes.
commitment with a partner. I would like to say that become friendly to children. Being
Yeah.
friendly to
Correct.
children is extremely important. And what is that one technique that I pick up, Rabia, is that I just don't become judgmental with whatever they say. That's the best thing as a friendliness, where you don't say exclamations, oh my God, this is what happened. No, you just hear the child with whatever they come up with. You talk to them. You tell them that, yeah, this is a situation which we need to look into. And then you also share your experience of your past so that the child feel reconciled. Okay, she also had the similar situation. I'm not the only one, it's happening with me. So when they share, when I talk, when I tell them, let's decide, let's come to a conclusion. Usually, when we are making that mind map, we come exactly to a conclusion where we are not harming anyone, where we are avoiding or ignoring the situation. We are trying to make ourselves more confident for next time, and we try to learn from what has happened so that there is a lot of options for the child in next time when they face the similar kind of a problem. So when you become a problem sharer with the child, when you start listening to the children, when you exchange the ideas that they have, when you appreciate with whatever they are talking about, when you let them know that this is a brilliant idea and I think this could have been done when I was at your age, but I didn't try it, but you have the courage, you're even thinking about it. The children get a confidence within, okay, she's not finding me unique, she's not finding me somebody who's done a fault, she's not finding me somebody who has to correct, but she's trying to let me know that this can happen with anyone and let's find a solution. So that's one way inside the classroom that you start clearing all the mindset and the stories that children are assuming about a leader. So when you go inside a class, usually what happens, teachers start teaching, usually. But I would like to suggest that let's first try to be friendly.
Yeah.
Let's try to know what they are feeling today like. It wouldn't take
Right.
much because if you have the right question, you will come up with the right answer. And then when you come to the classes a little busy today, and all of them are not feeling the way they could have because yesterday they got a result, and all of them are not feeling good about it because with the results they came to know a lot about their daily routine from their parents, and they're all very happy in the next day class. So the teacher then starts becoming a tool to make them happy, and then she'll know that how they can think around beyond what has happened yesterday. So a small game, a small icebreaker, a small reflection about your positives, a little bit of strength of each one of them, so that they quickly rebound to the next day where they are and try to restart their journey from the day or the present. This helps the children. Why? Because Rabia, usually what happens is that children are very innocent at the age when we are teaching them in the class. So things are not very permanently lying in their mindset. So the minute you start positive, start doing things with them, start sharing examples, children forget the sadness or whatever they're thinking or not feeling motivated. They start coming up with better information and participation in the classroom. So I think that's one of the ways that I usually look at the technique of being with the children close, by talking to them and being friendly with them.
Beautiful. This is actually, I was looking out for this kind of answer, Dr. Preeti, because most of the times, what teachers and what parents understand, parents actually feel that fine, teacher is a friend to them, and at times teachers will spoil them, my child, or otherwise she'll keep scolding my child. So they don't come to the mid point that yes, teacher can be friendly to their child just because of their child's growth perspective, positive growth and growth mindset, actually, to change the growth mindset. So thank you
I
so
would like
much for
to
explaining
I
in
would like to
such a
add
detail.
Yeah, I would like to add a little here, Rabia. I'm so sorry I interrupted you, but I wouldn't be able to sleep today night if I don't complete with the line that I want to add. That in case the children are not patiently handled, children wouldn't know how to deal with their life. And the problem lies with the teacher and the parents when they are impatient to correct. The child eventually has to be corrected, and that correction cannot be done immediately. Letting the child know you're wrong, you go out of the class, this is how you behave. Parents saying go out of the class, no pocket money. Parents saying go out of the room, no pocket money, no TV today. That wouldn't correct them. But allowing them to do what they have been doing and ask them to please see what is the impact of it. Slowly and eventually they will get to know, because we are so much socially conditioned that my child should not be caught doing something like this. So let's quickly correct. Children start feeling strangulated. So when the parent has a patience, when the teacher has a patience, they deal with the child slowly and give the child time and space. I think that is the trick and the solution, rather than only being friendly. I think that is one part that I wanted to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti, once again. Yes, thank you so much for clarifying all the things. And I hope you will be able to sleep now peacefully and nicely after sharing this piece of. So, out of this only, I have another question. So, like you said, that yes, you need to be friendly and you need to allow them, you need to give them time actually. So, can we say that actually a teacher is playing a role, or teacher or a parent is playing a role of a mentor kind of person? Is it can we
Absolutely.
justify this statement, right? So
Yes.
any
Yes.
more tips to be a
Absolutely.
mentor, because I think mentor is something vast rather than being a teacher. And I think
Yes.
when we
Yes.
talk about the lockdown period for last 2 years, I think we all have been able to try, we are all trying to actually be a mentor to each other, not only to the students basically, but to each other actually, because mentor is something who is a friend also, who is a support system also, who is actually helping you to in your growth as well. So I think we can define it as a mentor. So what exactly you would like to add on, that yes, how can a teacher or a parent can be a mentor to the student, because it is also part of very best effective teaching practices to be a mentor. And in today's time zone,
I
I think to be
totally,
a mentor is very important.
very, very important, because I feel that a mentor and a learner's relationship is extremely beautiful and beyond words. Because one who has to become the mentor is not born and you don't say, I'm your mentor. You become the mentor. So once a children start trusting an individual, irrespective of a parent or a teacher, they automatically make them as their mentor without even going and telling them that you are my mentor. It's not an act, it's not in the book that you become a mentor. It's basically when the children start, or an adult even, like today you and me, we talk to each other, and in case I don't trust you, I wouldn't be able to interact with you the way I want to, and my problems will stay with me, and your problems will stay with you, and we wouldn't be able to solve each other's problems. So we wouldn't be able to and act as a mentor or a learner. So the minute the teacher enters the class, the trust value of the classroom should be extremely high. And it's it's never that, come on, I want to trust you, children, show me how I can trust you. It's never like this. It's always like,
Great.
let me see how she is in the class, and then I'll see if I can trust her. It's always the
Yeah.
children who are looking forward for a very trustworthy person, which may be the principal, the teacher, the school guard, the parent, the helper. It can be anyone. Usually what happens is some of the people get very amused. He doesn't talk to me, but he talks to Mr. Sharma. I don't know why he does that,
Hmm.
and why does he do that. I keep talking to him because when a person is disclosing, when a child is disclosing, when an adult is disclosing in the very lull moment any information to anyone, they expect you to keep it to themselves and also give them solution. But if you give them solution and start demonstrating what happened with them in the whole class or in front of the parents and the PTM, oh, you're gone. You're absolutely no mentor to them anymore. So mentor and mentorship starts off a teacher or a leader or a parent only when these young minds willingly start accepting you with utmost trust. And that trust is very sensitive for them. For them, hiding a chocolate under a pillow is an extremely important information. But for a mother, oh, you know something? Today my child was hiding a chocolate under the pillow.
Hmm.
You're gone. The mother may think, oh बेटा क्या हुआ? मैंने तो आपको बस थोड़ा सा, मैंने तो एक आंटी को ये बोला था. But you have lost the child there, and then they would never say if the next day they're hiding something which is not supposed to be hidden. So there is a lot of mentorship learning required in the one who wants to become a mentor. So you have to be accommodating. You have to accommodate the child's all kinds of behavior and patterns to let the child know, I know you are like this. I know you are somebody who's very sensitive or very angry or very, you have anxiety, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. And then when you talk to the children of their weaknesses individually, that means when nobody's in the room, they will respect you to the core. And when you appreciate them in front of 10 more children, they will love beyond words. So, this is what the technique of a mentor is, that everybody has a problem and each one of us has to talk to each other. But how you pitch in as a teacher and a leader or a mentor is extremely important for us as adults to be in the classroom or as a parent. So, I think this is how I can look forward of you wanting to become a mentor is not your choice. It is the
Yeah.
choice of the person who wants to make you a mentor. So these are the
Yeah.
qualities one mentor should have. I feel so.
Just to add in, I mean,
One
I
of the
think
most
you have
important.
aptly mentioned these things. Just to add in before Rabia takes over the next question, um, I think schools are meant for the parents, not for the kids. For kids, it's an amazing world altogether. But where the real schooling is needed is for the parents. So
Hmm.
parenting is something which is a really important area where as a parent I need to learn how to parent, because the child is um, uh, he is just a newborn baby, or he has come to the world for the first time. Maybe he's entering to this class at age 5 or 6, but we are the one who have lived our life for 20 years, 25, 30 years, and then given birth to a baby. So we as a parent need to learn how to parent, not the
Absolutely.
child who's supposed to learn how to learn things, why to go to school. Yeah, what's your
Beautifully
Absolutely,
opinion
said.
on this?
absolutely right. I absolutely agree with you here because I feel that even the doctor lets the mother know that the child inside your womb is listening to everything that you're talking. So the
Yeah.
learning of a child starts even when the
Starts.
child is not born. So when the children are so observant and they're listening to you, you can't bang the door, you shouldn't shout in front of her, you shouldn't give her any kind of a stress. These things do matter and these things do play a very vital role in their thinking style when they're born. Some of the children just get cranky, they start crying if somebody is shouting or somebody just comes inside the house. They get to know that this is the vibe of the person who I could realize when I was still in the womb of my mother. There is a very technical way of looking at it, but I am just talking it in a layman's language. But I have felt that even if you change the position of the child while they're sleeping and when they're very young and they don't see the same picture or the wall around which they were sleeping, they start feeling uncomfortable. So even
Yeah.
that particular change can make a child uncomfortable. Imagine if a parent suddenly starts um, fighting in the house, or suddenly
Yeah.
starts arguing with loud voice, or is quiet, or doesn't come home, or is very late, and there is a drastic change in the mindset of the child at a very young age. And I've seen a lot of documentaries and movies and read in books that the way an adult behaves is all that he has learned in his family when he was young.
Yeah.
So usually an
Correct.
alcoholic father will have a child also most of the time. It will be absolutely different, Either the child is going to be absolutely different from the kind of father he had, or he may be exactly the same way. And the tendency of picking up the similar habit is easily there when
Most.
such kind of family conditions are. I have seen that very closely, and I feel that yes, the whole family, the whole town, and the whole city is is the reason for a child to become who they are when they are an adult. So it is the way that they enact and behave with the child. Very true, Mamtaji. I agree with you.
Rightly said, Dr. Preeti. Very rightly said. Yes. As a parent, we have more duties rather than, just as a teacher. So we all need to be a good mentors, whether we are teachers or not teachers or parents, just parents. तो पेरेंट्स फिर से मैं वही बात दोहराऊंगी कि पेरेंट्स ही सबसे पहले गुरु पेरेंट्स होते हैं बच्चे के लिए एंड
बिल्कुल,
देन द स्कूल
बिल्कुल.
स्टार्ट्स एक्चुअली so one last question, Dr. Priti. I know we are falling short of time and you might have
No
to
worries.
get into another session, but just one last question. I won't be getting into the teaching best teaching technique that you practiced during the pandemic. I think we have all done a lot of time those sessions on various platforms, but yes, one last question to you. What is that one tip you want to give to be it teachers, be it parents, to apply post pandemic when the child has gone through a lot during these 2 years and still we are in the similar kind of situation? So yes, youth is worried about their career, early years not able to meet their friends, they are not able to go to play schools, and still we don't know when is the schools actually properly working and opening. And because I've heard in Bangalore again 250 students have have come out to be COVID positive, which is not a good
Yes,
sign, to be honest. Yes, and I'm crossing my fingers that we should not be facing any worse conditions now. So what is that best tip you would like to share for the teachers or the parents to use for making the learnings more effective post pandemic and to understand the psychology of the child, of the student, of the be it of any age, be it youth, be it adolescent, or be it an earlier child? Because I think everybody is going through a similar kind of situation mindset.
absolutely. Absolutely, Rabia, and very aptly asked question. I think this question should be triggered in every school post pandemic. What is that one thing that a teacher should do? And I feel that a teacher should make the method in the classroom in such a way that there is a maximum participation of the children. It cannot be ignored, because nowadays what happens, children are usually on mute. Home, they're mute. Online, they're mute. So nobody knows what they're thinking, what they're talking, what they want, what they feel. If they have a lot of group discussion, if they have think, pair, share, if they can write and demonstrate, if they can express a painting and talk, if they learn something by doing, I think that will be the best way children are going to come up with a real expression. I think too
Wow.
many activities digitally will again bring them back to this window, which is not a real human ability. You are made of lovely, lovely physical action, lovely way of moving around, thinking, understanding, creating, imaginating. You have to be absolutely closer to the children with some resources. Allow them to prepare a resource. Allow them to talk and tell you what they exactly need. Create a bucket of lot of data of what the need of the child is. It doesn't matter if it takes you 30 days to bring that data on a table that what my children today need. And it would be a beautiful way of then designing your curriculum with the need of the child, which will help them to identify that they are required in the classroom. The
Wow.
requirement now in the malls and school building is if the child is willing to learn the way we want them to learn. So if the child again tells you with the feedback, we want to watch a movie, fine, go ahead with a movie. But if children say, ma'am, we want to have an antakshari and a discussion and a group discussion, and we want to do a role play and we really want to do a skit, and that's what we were all prepared about, and we are going to bring you all the situations, what happened at home, and tell you the stories the way we have dealt with, and can you please let us know how and what was right? And if you can guide, that is the kind of a pattern one needs to now come up with. Maximum participation in the class will give you maximum learning outcome. This is how I expect and I would like to go ahead with.
Wow. Wow. Thank
Yep.
you, Dr. Preeti, for sharing such a wonderful tip, because I'm sure many students and many teachers, many educators, we are all looking forward and waiting eagerly for the schools to reopen in a proper way, in a proper function, so that everybody should get settled down and the things should be normal instead of new normal, actually. So we
Absolutely.
are just feeling positive. We can just stay positive about that. But yes, making the learning more effective and making the teaching more effective, yes, these are the few teaching tips that we need to apply for a student to be a good learner and for us as a teacher to be a good mentor for our students. So thank you so much, Dr. Preeti, for sharing such wonderful, teaching tips, teaching techniques with all of us today, with all our viewers and the parents as well. Because yes, parents, we cannot avoid the parents, we cannot ignore the parents
Absolutely no.
actually.
Absolutely no.
Because I think during the lockdown also, parents were actually needed for the students, for their child so that their learning should not stop. So they have given the full support, and we have learned a lot as parents, as educators as well. So thanks to lockdown, actually, that we got in touch with Dr. Preeti, with Ms. Mamta, and with so many viewers, so that we can share our learnings with each other, and that is how we'll be able to support each other during these difficult situations, during these difficult times. So thank you,
Thank you.
Mamta, once
Thank
again
you.
for inviting me on this platform as a convener. And thank you so much, Dr. Preeti, for wonderfully sharing all the tips and teaching techniques today.
Thank you, Rabia. I'm extremely happy to today speak as much as I wanted to, and your questions were wonderful, which allowed me to speak the way I wanted to. So I give all the credit to your questions. And thank you so much, Ms. Mamta, to recognize me as all that you spoke before the event could start. And all the best to your venture. And thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you so much. Before we end, I think it was wonderful having you. And today's parents looking for such kind of awareness. And this is a step ahead from us, that we are bringing experts not only from education but also from the medical fraternity, with giving a right, information to the people who are looking for a wise awareness, basically. Because there is so much information going around through WhatsApp and through other social platforms, but
Yes.
getting that information from a right person is something what is needed. This is the time wherein parents and people, they look for inputs like these what you've shared. And I think it wouldn't have been better than what you have already shared. Your knowledge and your expertise talks, uh, you know which
Thank you.
is commendable, of course. And parents, please, I think Dr. Preeti, she has already shared lots of inputs. um, it's our duty, along with the parents, along with the teachers, to take care of our kids. And they are the learners, basically. प्यार करना है, पैम्पर करना है, सपोर्ट करना है, पर उसी के साथ हमें उनको एक ऐसा इंसान बनाना है जिसमें एम्पैथी हो, जिसमें प्यार हो, जिसको लर्न लर्न करने की इच्छा हो। और आगे चल के वो ऑफ कोर्स हमारे देश को, हमारे पेरेंट्स को, हमारे टीचर्स को वो बहुत प्राउड फील करवाए. प्लीज, if you like this video, share, like, comment, and subscribe our Wiki India channel. We are looking forward for more such informative sessions with getting amazing experts on our platform. But we should not forget, keep masking yourself, keep social distancing and sanitizing. That is the need of the hour. Stay safe. And thank you so much, both the guests and Dr. Rabia. Yes, you are one of the strong pillar of the organization who's bringing amazing experts from this education field, and we're looking forward for more and more experts coming on board. Thank you so much, Dr. Priti, for joining us, and we're looking forward for your support for the organization development going ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Always
much.
there.
We end our session today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Have a great evening, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.